Hey Brian, welcome to the GAC RMHC Golf Classic. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your address position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's first of all take a look at your posture. We can see that your spine is nice and straight and on a slight tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you, and the club works out to the ball, so achieving really good posture here, also in association with really good balance. Let's go ahead and take a look at your alignment. You can see your feet aiming in this direction here. Carry that out towards the fairway. Now theoretically your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet, and parallel lines on camera would have an appearance of converging, and under that scenario we can see that you're pretty much set up right down the center of the fairway, so that's a great job. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Jordan Spieth. Put them up here on the left side of the screen. Now we've got some color-coded lines up on the screen here just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. And we can see here with Jordan as he initiates his takeaway, creates good shoulder rotation, drawing the arms and hands back as well as the club. And we see the club coming back directly along this red line on plane. As we continue to move the golf club back right around this point here, we're going to start to incorporate some good wrist hinge into play, where we're going to transition the club head from being below our hands to now being above and behind our hands. At this point here, we're going to work the golf club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. And when we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we want to have the left arm of the club either situated on the yellow line, somewhere within the blue-yellow V zone, or physically up on blue, as we see with Jordan Spieth. At the same time, we want to have created a full shoulder rotation, and we want to do this with a very stable right leg. With you, we watch you initiate your takeaway here. You draw your hands back very, very nicely, rotating your shoulders. Golf club's coming back on a very nice swing plane. Club face at this point in time is very, very closed, and one of the things I noticed that I didn't really talk about at address is that your grip, for sure your right hand is too strong. That just means that your right hand is rotated too far underneath the golf club, almost like we're sort of holding a hockey stick or a baseball bat, and we really don't have the golf club situated in our fingers and achieving a trigger finger. Tough for me to see your left hand and to see what sort of grip you have there, but certainly the right hand is not on the golf club the way we want it, and it's probably going to have a tendency of closing the club face a little too much. Anyways, as we continue to come back here, you continue with your turn, you get some good wrist hinge into play. That's a really nice move right there. And as we take this golf club up to the top, I really like where you're setting the club. You have good full shoulder rotation. You do that about a very stable right leg. We can see that you keep your arms in a nice triangular position. Golf club's in good position relative to your arms. You do have a tendency of maybe setting the club and your arms a little bit shallow. It just means your left arm is slightly below the yellow line here. But nonetheless, you should still be able to hit a pretty decent golf shot from here. As we go ahead and take a look at the transition coming back into the ball with Jordan Spieth, we can see he moves his weight from his right foot to his left, fires his knees and his hips to the target laterally, unwinds his core, and fires his hands. And in doing so, we got to make sure that we're bringing the golf club from this blue-yellow V zone, wherever we set it, back down onto red. And at this point in time, we can just sort of take a look and notice that the club head has returned back to being on plane. The other thing we want to point out at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. I refer to this as a backwards check mark. It simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone, and this was going to allow him to create a lot of power in the golf swing, aside from the fact that he's going to be able to hit the ball straight due to the club having returned back to plane, as we already mentioned, which is ultimately a very important criteria in order to produce straight golf shots. Now as we go ahead and take a look at your transition coming back into the ball, we see an over-the-top move where you push your hands out away from you, and unfortunately that's going to have a major impact on where the golf club travels. So at this point in time, we can take a look at your club head. We can see that the club is not moving back towards its plane line. And as we continue to track that club coming in, we're just going to watch it fall further out in front of you and ultimately come into the ball too steep from over the top, and is ultimately going to attack the ball from outside to inside. So we go ahead and connect the dots here and get a sense of that descending plane. We can very clearly see that the golf club certainly approached the golf ball from too steep of a position and did not return back to on plane like what we see with Jordan Spieth here, and the golf club certainly did not come into the golf ball from on plane again, which is ultimately going to allow us to be able to hit a straight golf shot in accordance to our alignment, assuming lastly that the club face squares up via having a good grip. So at this point in time, we can go ahead and take a look at the pass of the club. We can see here with Jordan, his club is inside the ball before he strikes it. Club expands out to make contact, moves through in a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is stuck too much directly behind the ball and outside, drops down to make contact, and then we can very clearly see where the club travels through as we strike the ball. Very simply, if we happen to square the club face up to that swing path, we're obviously going to pull the ball way over to the left. If we happen to release the club relative to this path, not only will we pull the ball, but we'd hit some form of a pull draw or pull hook, depending on how much that club face released. If we leave the club face a little bit open to this path, we have the ability to sort of block the ball a little bit right, and then obviously by leaving the club face a little open, imparting a little left to right spin on the ball, and we can hit a nice little fade that finds the intended target. And probably a golf shot you see quite often when you hit the ball well. If we happen to leave the club face too open, ball gets blocked even further right, pretty incredibly, considering the fact that we're swinging the club to the left. Therefore, that club face has to be pretty massively open. At that point in time, we'd be imparting way too much left to right spin on the ball, and we're going to hit some kind of a block slice. So really the end result of your golf shot is dictated based on the timing of the club face, because the club is attacking the ball from the outside, striking the ball, and moving to the inside. If we happen to square the club face up, it's going to follow red. If we under-release the club, it's going to follow blue. And if we time it properly, it'll follow yellow, and the shot will definitely turn out. Other thing I want to point out at this stage here, at point of impact, is that your right heel is affixed still on the ground, where Jordan Spieth's right heel is off the ground. And then as he carries through his golf shot, just watch the continued activity of this right foot, whereby his right heel fully comes up off the ground. He gets on the toe of his right foot. That allows us to displace all of our weight on our left side, allows the hips to square around, shoulders to fully rotate, the hands are high, and the club's back in behind us through to a good finish. With you, let's check out and see what you do with your footwork. So you eventually do come off your right heel, then you spin on the soles of your toe, and you also spin out on your left foot. Okay, so what's going to happen here is you're going to lose your balance a lot when we swing through. With Jordan Spieth, when he swings through, we notice where the left foot is when it starts. Basically, bring the club back. We store the energy on the right. We drive it back to the left to swing through. The left foot stays planted. Right heel comes off the ground. Left foot stays planted. Right heel comes fully off the ground, up on the toe of the right foot. Left foot stays planted. So we don't want to be spinning out on that foot. So definitely need to learn how to create proper footwork through to the finish, so that one golf swing obviously aesthetically looks better. We have a better finishing position. It's more efficient, more natural, etc., etc. Okay, so definitely learn how to create the proper footwork, where we simply just come up off our right heel, up onto our toe, and don't spin out on your front foot. Rest of it, I mean, your setup's pretty good. Your posture, your balance, your alignment. The biggest issues are, yeah, we need to fix your grip of your right hand, and then obviously when we swing through, got to get to a nicer finish. And then from there, the bigger aspect is when we get to the top of the backswing, we do have to reduce this over-the-top move where we send the club out, club attacks the ball from outside to inside. At that point in time, we really better make sure we keep the club face in a perfect position to compensate and be able to hit sort of this pull fade that finds the intended target. Again, if we over-release it, it's going too far left. Under-release it, it's going too far to the right. Okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects, I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, touch base. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services with you. Anyways, I hope you had a fantastic day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video.